What if I told you the most famous battle in history wasn't won by the strongest warrior, but by a teenage boy with nothing but a sling and 5 smooth stones? 3,000 years ago, an entire army trembled before a single giant, and the boy who faced him wasn't even supposed to be there. This is the true story of David and Goliath. In the kingdom of Israel, there lived a young shepherd named David. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, and while his older siblings became soldiers and warriors, David was sent to the fields to watch over his father's sheep. To everyone around him, David was invisible, the forgotten son, the boy nobody believed in. But God saw something in David that no one else could see. While David tended his flock, he developed skills that would one day change history forever. He learned to use a sling, not as a toy, but as a weapon. He could hit a target the size of a coin from 50 paces away. And when wild lions or bears came to attack his sheep, David fought them with his bare hands. Meanwhile, far from David's quiet fields, the kingdom of Israel was in grave danger. The Philistines, Israel's most feared enemy, had gathered their entire army in the valley of Elah. King Saul, the ruler of Israel, marched his soldiers to meet them. But what came out of the Philistine camp that morning made every Israelite soldier's blood run cold. His name was Goliath. He stood over 9 feet tall. His bronze armor weighed more than most men. His spear was like a weaver's beam, and a shield-bearer walked ahead of him just to carry his shield. Every morning, for 40 days, Goliath would step into the valley and shout the same challenge. "Choose a man. Send him to fight me. If he kills me, we will be your servants. But if I kill him, you will serve us." And every morning, for 40 days, not a single Israelite soldier dared to step forward. Not even King Saul himself. The bravest warriors in the land trembled in their tents. Back home, David's father Jesse called him one morning with a simple task. "Take this bread and cheese to your brothers at the battlefield," he said, "and bring me news of how they're doing." David obeyed. He left at sunrise, traveling the long road to the valley of Elah. He had no idea that this errand would change his life forever. When David arrived at the Israelite camp, he heard Goliath's roar echoing through the valley for the first time. He watched as the giant mocked the army of Israel. He watched as grown men ran to hide in their tents, and something inside David awakened. He turned to a soldier and asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers laughed at him. His own brothers scolded him, "Go home, David. This is no place for a boy." But David's words reached King Saul, and the king ordered the boy to be brought before him. King Saul looked at the boy in disbelief. "You? Fight Goliath? You're just a boy. He has been a warrior since his youth." But David didn't waver. He looked the king in the eye and said, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep, and when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the lamb from its mouth. When it rose against me, I caught it by its beard and killed it. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." Something in David's voice silenced the entire tent. Saul slowly nodded. "Go," he said, "and may the Lord be with you." The king tried to give David his own royal armor, heavy bronze, sword, shield, helmet, but David could barely walk in it. He took it all off. He would face the giant his own way. David walked down to the brook that ran through the valley. He knelt by the water, and carefully, deliberately, He chose 5 smooth stones from the stream bed. Why 5? Some say it was because Goliath had 4 brothers, and David was ready for all of them. He placed the stones in his shepherd's bag. He took his sling in his hand, his staff in the other, and he began to walk straight toward the giant. From the Philistine side, Goliath saw him coming, and he laughed. A boy. They sent a boy. "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" he roared. "Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." But David kept walking. David stopped. He looked up at the giant, and what he said next echoed through history forever. "You come to me with a sword, a spear, and a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down, so that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel." Goliath roared in fury. He raised his massive spear, and he charged. The ground shook beneath his feet. The armies on both hills held their breath, and David ran toward him. He reached into his bag. He took out a single stone. He placed it in his sling. He spun it once, twice, 3 times above his head, and he released. The stone flew through the air. Faster than anyone could see, it struck Goliath right in the center of his forehead. The giant froze. His eyes rolled back. His massive body began to sway, and then he fell, face first into the dust. The earth shook beneath him. A deafening silence fell over both armies. David walked forward, calmly. He stood over the fallen giant. He took Goliath's own massive sword from his sheath, and with one stroke, he ended the giant's reign of terror forever. When the Philistines saw their champion dead, they panicked. The mightiest army in the region turned and ran in terror. The Israelites, who moments before had been hiding in their tents, suddenly erupted in cheers. They chased their enemies across the valley. King Saul stood frozen on the hillside, watching the impossible unfold. A shepherd boy, with a sling and 5 stones, had just changed the destiny of an entire nation, and on that day, a legend was born. David's story is more than just a legend. It's a reminder that the size of your enemy doesn't determine your victory, that courage, faith, and conviction can topple giants that the world considers unbeatable. David would later become the greatest king Israel ever knew. But it all started with 5 smooth stones and a boy who refused to be afraid. If this story moved you, subscribe for more stories from the Bible that changed the world. And remember, your Goliath is waiting. What stone will you choose?